become a real estate investor. And what I mean by becoming a real estate investor is there are people who think they're real estate investors. They might have bought a house and then they left the house and became a real estate investor by renting that house that they used to live in out. But that wasn't intentional, or a lot of times that was not intentional. They did that and they kind of fell into becoming a real estate investor. I'm going to show you guys how to become a real estate investor from the get-go, and not just kind of haphazardly becoming a real estate investor, because oftentimes when people rent out their primary home that they used to live in, it may not actually cash flow, or it may not be the right ROI for them. It may have too much risk involved. So there's a lot of different things, and we're going to be going over a lot of that kind of stuff. I am not a licensed attorney, accountant, financial advisor, broker, or anything else like that. So use this information as entertainment purposes only. Right? Use this for entertainment purposes only. I am here to show you what is possible, and then you guys go and follow up with your accountant, your CPA, your attorneys, your whoever gives you legal advice, but do not take it from me, because I'm, again, just here for your entertainment. So that's what that says. All right, guys? All right. She has a master's degree. She has 16 years of experience. She works 2 extra jobs. She donates blood plasma and all of that just to pay the bills. She's a teacher in America. She's, I am a teacher in America. And when I read that, I go, wow, that's incredible. Why would someone like that have to go do all of that extra stuff? Like, shouldn't having a master's degree, 16 years of experience and all that be enough? Why do you have to work 2 extra jobs? Why do you have to donate blood plasma? And it's a shame, but hey, that's what it is, and that's her situation. And I just want to make sure that you guys don't fall into that same situation. Interestingly enough, I've had a similar situation where I was let go from my job, newly unemployed. I am an investor. I'm an investor. This picture here was on my last day at the job that I had, right? So on the last day of the job that I had, they let me go. And I had a decision to make. Was it that was I going to find another place to work, or was I just going to call it quits and say, hey, you know what? This is my time to shine. I'm going to become a real estate investor. So as you guys may have guessed, I became a full-time real estate investor. Here we are today. And this is why you guys are watching me do my thing. This is what people think success looks like. Success, straight line, just boom. We're just going to go for it. Straight line, right up, even keel. But the thing is, success really isn't like that. It really looks like this. The problem with success looking like this, though, is that people feel like it's not okay to look like this. Every time it goes down, or you hit a bump, or you make a mistake, or you lose money, or whatever, like anytime it rattles down, you try to avoid that at all costs. And a lot of people avoid that to the point where they don't actually try anymore. I recently posted on Facebook, I asked, what's the difference between those who invest in real estate and those who don't? And the majority of the answers said action, 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 taking action, right? But why don't people take action? Why haven't they taken action? It's because they are afraid of failing. That is it. That is it. And think about it in your own life. Anytime you didn't take action, it's because you probably feared failure, right? You might have disguised it. You might have said things like, oh, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I don't have the resources. But really, there's this hidden fear that's just kind of following you along. And that causes you to just give up on your dream. So I don't want you to do that anymore. So what I'm trying to tell you today, guys, is that if you fail, if you make a mistake, if you lose money, it's okay. All right. The system was designed for us to fail because there is no perfect. Don't be afraid of failing. Be afraid of never trying. Okay. So why real estate? Everybody on this call, you're interested in real estate. So the question is, why real estate, right? Why real estate? Why would people be interested in real estate? Well, large sums of money, large lump sum, right? Large lump sum of money. So that's if you're doing a flip, a wholesale deal, anything like that, large sum of money, boom. People can make all kinds of money. Now, I can't say that you're going to make a certain amount, but I've done flips where you can make 50,000, 100,000, right? You can do wholesale deals. The average is 7,000. Some people make 15, 25, 50,000 on a wholesale deal. The most that I was going to pay a wholesaler was $57,000. And for a lot of people, that's a whole year's salary. So lump sum of cash, I mean, it's a great thing. The other reason that people invest in real estate or why they choose real estate is passive cash flow. They love just collecting that money, right? Every single month that money comes in, that money will set you free, right? That money will set you free. They say the truth will set me free. Well, passive income will set you free. And by collecting passive income coming from rents, coming from interest payments, things like that, it's a beautiful thing. So maybe try to get some more of that, right? All right. So again, why real estate? Because large lump sums and passive cash flow. Feel free to put in the comments, which one are you here for? Which one appeals to you more, lump sum or cash flow? There is no right or wrong, okay, guys? I want you guys, for this whole entire thing, I want you guys just throw away all of your fears, throw away all of your inhibitions, just be okay that everything or anything that you say is going to be fine. Like, there is no wrong. There's not going to be a wrong answer, right? You're free to think the way you want to think. Large sum, lump sum, or passive cash flow. Which one do you like better? A lot of people are saying both, but the cash flow definitely makes sense. Both. I'm getting a lot of both. Okay. And that's great. You can have both, right? You can have both. Okay. Lump sum. We got one for lump sum. All right. Here we go. Let's keep on going. Let's talk about it. Let's do a deal, guys. Let's do a deal. So if you guys see this property here, right? It's this beat up house with there's a car on the grass, right? What would you do, right? What would you do? Well, let's rehab it. Let's make it beautiful. Here's a beautiful house. The question is, what are you going to do with this beautiful house now? Now that you have this beautiful house, what's the plan? What's the plan? What would you do with this beautiful house? This is the deal, right? You had a beat up house before, and now you fixed it all up, and it's a beautiful house, right? So we got sell, flip it. All right. So here are the numbers. Let's talk about it from the numbers point of view. Let's see if anything changes. If you bought it for $150,000, you rehabbed it for $100,000, and you financed it for $75,000. You're all in, right? You're all in right here is, let me do it this way. You're all in is $325,000, and when you're all said and done, it's worth $500,000. Okay, it's worth $500,000 when you're all said and done. So what would you do? I'm getting flip it, sell it. Okay. Where is it? It's in hypothetical la la land. Okay. It's in hypothetical la la land. It's in a great neighborhood. I have no idea. But vacation rental, maybe it could be, right? So let's say it's a vacation rental, right? So if it's a vacation rental, so for those who said fix and flip, here we go. Let's take a look at it. So remember, we bought it, fixed it up, financed it. So the finance cost $75,000, all in $325,000. If you sell it for $500,000, not including closing costs, because of course there's closing costs, right? But not including closing costs, your profit would be $175,000. Not a bad day, right? Not a bad day at all. But that's just one. That's just one technique. So I have the people below, right? Let me see where the people below. So that's you over there in the red. And then these lovely people, they're the ones who are buying the property from you, right? So they're buying the property from you. And when they buy the property, you made $175,000. That's fantastic. That's a great day in anybody's book. Would you agree? Right? All right. So now, what are your other options? So you see where all of that money is? How else could you have made money in this? Well, let's talk about it. How about if you were wholesaling? So what if you were you were right there in the middle. You were the red one. Person A was selling the property for $100,000, and then you sold it to person B, who bought it for $150,000. So you wholesaled it in the middle. All you did, right? For those who don't know what wholesaling means, all you did was you got it under contract from person A. That's you right there. And then you sold it to, where's he at? Right there. You sold it to person B, right? So you You were just a middle person. You didn't have to bring any money to the table. You didn't have to show your credit or have your credit run. Not at all. You wholesaled the deal. You got it under contract for 100. You sold it to the next person for $50,000 more. That's a win in my book, right? That's a win in my book. So for those who have never heard of wholesaling, that's a strategy right there. There's another way. How about if the person who bought it, right, that lovely couple, they bought it to be a vacation rental. I think somebody in the comments said that, vacation rental, right? So if they bought it for $500,000 and they were able to make $100,000 a year from being a rental income, I mean, that's a win too. So a lot of people discount that opportunity. And if they use traditional financing, maybe they put $100,000 down, right? Maybe they had $100,000. They put that down. That's 20% of 500,000. So they put their $100,000 down. They bought this vacation rental. If they made back that same $100,000, they made all their money back. That's 100% return. And every single year after that, gravy. Think about that. How many people don't make six figures in 1 year? So in this case, they get to just by simply buying a rental property, right? Isn't that amazing? So a lot of people discount that. They don't realize that you can do stuff like that. But there you go. There's an opportunity right there, right? So Airbnb vacation rental. Now let's talk about this one. This one's often overlooked. Private lending. Did you know you could be the bank? You can be the bank in this situation. So what does that mean? Well, the financing needed to come from somewhere. So the flipper, you assumed you were the flipper in the beginning. But what if you weren't? What if somebody else brought the deal to you, like a wholesaler brought the deal to you? I'm sorry, not to you, but the wholesaler brought it to somebody else who wanted to do the flip, right? Someone else is doing the flip. The person who wants to do the flip, they need the money. But where's the money going to come from? Well, it can come from you if you were a private money lender. So that means if you had the $250,000 to give them to buy it and fix it up, maybe they pay you back $75,000 in interest for lending the money. You just made $75,000 and you didn't have to do any work. That is awesome. I like private lending a lot because you make your return and you can make it quick. If this is brand new for you, put in the comments, brand new concept, something like that. And we'll talk about it more, but I want to hear where you guys are. If this is brand new to you and it's a eureka, just, you know what? Let's make it easier. Just type wow, WOW, wow. Like if it's new and it's like, wow, I want to do that. Type in wow and we'll talk about it. So being a private money lender, financing, making your money from interest. That's an awesome strategy. A lot of people overlook that one. They only know about doing rentals and they only know about doing fix and flips. So private money lending is a fantastic one. This is the one that I would like to do. It's a value add rental. So maybe instead of that couple doing the rental, I do the rental. So if you followed the numbers, right? I borrowed the money from a private money lender. I borrowed the $250, but I paid back $325. My all-in was $325. But the value of the property is $500,000. So what do? I go to the bank, right? I go to the bank after that, and then I say, "Hey, bank, would you give me money? Would you give me $375,000?" And they said, "Sure," because $375,000 is 75% of the 500. So if you guys are following along, the numbers down there at the bottom, the $500,000 is the value. I go to the bank. I say, "Hey, bank, I got this rental property worth $500,000. Give me a loan." They give me back $375,000. Notice my all-in is $325. You guys see that? $325. I use that $375 that they give me, and I pay back the $325. So that means I have $50,000 left over, and I put that money in my pocket. Right? So I just put $50,000 into my pocket, and now I have this vacation rental that makes me up to $100,000 a year. Isn't that cool? That's the power of real estate. If you learn how to put these things together, you can then do deals like this. Because if you're following along, follow along, everybody. I borrowed the money. I borrowed $250,000 to do this deal. from a private money lender. The financing cost me $75,000. I'm all in for $325,000. When I refinance, the bank gives me $375,000. I pay back my private money lender. I have no money in the deal. And if I have no money in the deal, I get to do another and another and another and another. That's what's super, super powerful about this whole entire thing, right? Being able to do so many deals and not have any money in the deal. So if I have no money stuck in the deal, how many deals can I do? Right? If I have no money in the deal, how many deals can I do? And the answer is as many as I can find. Really, that's my limitation right there, is as many as I can find. So this strategy right here, it's called the BRRRR method, right? That stands for buy, renovate, rent, refinance, repeat, right? And this is one of my favorites. Now let's talk about more advanced ones. What else can people do? What about a wraparound mortgage? A lot of people have never heard about this one. But if you follow along with the wraparound mortgage, so we bought it, fixed it up, $250, finance 75, all in $325, right? So I owe a private money lender $325. I sell it to a couple for $500,000. They put down $50,000. That's why there's a big dollar bill there, right? So they put down $50,000. I put that in my pocket. And then I finance with them $450,000. With my private money lender, I secured longer term debt. So maybe I tell them that I want to borrow their $325 for 3 years or 5 years or whatever it is that they're comfortable with, right? 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. And then the financing terms that I set up with the couple align with that. So their job is to take this loan and then improve their life. Now, some people don't qualify for a mortgage because their credit's bad. So maybe I can do this seller finance deal. I collect their $50,000 and I give them a couple years to improve their credit, right? But now they're a homeowner. And what's happening is I finance the $450, right? I finance the $450 and I'm getting monthly payments from that $450. I then turn around and I pay back my private money lender based on the $250 that I borrowed from them, right? So they have a mortgage and note with me for $250. I have a mortgage and note with the new borrower or new buyers for $450. Do you guys see that arbitrage, that split in the middle? I get to collect that, and I collected $50,000 up front. So I collected $50,000 up front. I'm collecting the interest payments from the $450, and then I'm paying interest on $250. So this is a flip. This is a flip with seller financing, and what we call this is a wraparound mortgage. So that's a much more advanced level, but it is something that you get to do if you learn about it, right? Is this new to anybody listening, right? Are these concepts, strategies, anything new to anybody on here? Because when you learn these things, it gives you the ability to do more deals. It's being able to say yes to more deals that cross your desk, right? We got one comment. This one is wow. I know. It's incredible what you get to do when you know this stuff, right? And we can take this even further and further and further. Like the people that I borrowed it from, maybe the money came from their self-directed retirement account, right? Maybe I borrowed it from their self-directed retirement account. And so they don't care for how long they lend me the money. And then I do that seller finance with them. But then I also teach the buyers how to raise their down payment of $50,000, or maybe I teach them how to raise more money. They give me $100,000 down and they finance $400,000. So I've taken more risk off of the table, right? So there's many different ways that you can do it. But this is a flip with seller financing, wraparound mortgage. It's great stuff. It's really, really great stuff, right? And the rabbit hole goes as deep as you want. But I didn't really talk about myself too much, and that's on purpose because you guys don't you guys don't care about me. It's more about like, hey, teach me real estate, Hone. I came here to learn real estate, so teach me real estate. But I wanted to dive into a little bit of who I am and why I invest in real estate. So I've been an investor for 9 years, and I got into real estate because I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's how a lot of people got started, by reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. But um, within the 9 years, I grew and grew and grew in terms of my real estate career. And I found that I got to grow the most when I surrounded myself with the right people, right? So 11 years ago, I wanted to become a real estate investor. I wanted to become a real estate investor 11 years ago. And I tried to put 30% down, and I was hoping that, okay, I'm going to buy a rental property, and then I'm going to collect cash flow, and I'm going to retire happily ever after. Here's the problem that I ran into. When I did the math, 30% down would mean that my break even to get my down payment back was going to be like 7 or 8 years. 7 or 8 years. I would have broke even last year, right? And that just makes no sense to me. So for 2 years, I did nothing. I don't want to say I did nothing. I bought nothing. I didn't do any investing. When I first started, I remember the conversations that I was having. I would call a real estate agent, right? I call a real estate agent because when you're brand new to real estate and you have no idea what's what, you just assume anybody in the industry is knowledgeable with investing. So I call a real estate agent and I'm like, hey, I would love to buy investment properties. Please send me all of your good deals. Please send me all of your good deals. What do you think happened? I'd love to hear in the comments. So when I told him, please send me all of your good deals, what do you think the problem was? What was the problem with asking that? When I said, hey, send me all of your good deals, what was the problem? Innocent enough question. I mean, it sounds like, okay, that's fine. Send me all your good deals. What do you think the biggest problem was? There was actually two big problems. So two big problems, right? Yeah. So people are commenting. The two big problems was, number one, the realtor had no idea what a good deal was, right? The realtor had no idea what a good deal was. Problem number two, I had no idea what a good deal was, right? As a real estate investor, I have no idea what I'm doing, right? Because nobody actually formally taught me. I just thought I knew because I had bought a house. I had bought a house 3 years prior. I thought I knew what I was doing. And the truth of the matter was, I did not. I did not. So me just trying things left me doing nothing in the end, right? So for 2 years, I didn't buy anything. And it wasn't until I joined a seminar taught by this real estate investor who taught me that BRRRR strategy that I showed you guys the other time with the refinance at the end. It wasn't until I learned from an investor how to do that. And when I learned that, I was just like, oh, that's how you do it. I get it now. I get it. So that changed everything for me. And here I am today because of me saying yes to becoming a real estate investor, by saying yes to that seminar, by saying yes that I need to learn more, and ultimately by saying no to my ego, because my ego is what told me that I knew everything already. And it was my ego that kept me back for so long. But by saying yes to that seminar, I got the freedom to say yes to my life, because today I am unemployed. I like telling people that I'm unemployed. When people ask me, hey, Hone, what do you do? What do you do for a living? I say, oh, I'm unemployed. Right. So I tell them that. And by being unemployed, I get to say yes in my life. Right. This is why I am a real estate investor. The freedom to say yes. So right there, it says freedom of yes. Yes changes your life forever. So I put up these 4 pictures, right? So the top left corner, that's me and my wife at Florida, Disney World, Magic Kingdom on New Year's Eve of 2020, ringing in 2020. Oh man, we had such big hopes and dreams of what 2020 could be, and we got all of this. Oh well, it happens, right? It happens. So that was us on December 31st. of 2019, ringing in the new year in Disney World. Like, what better fireworks show to be at, right? The bottom picture, bottom left there, that is us in Hawaii. That's us in Hawaii. The bottom right, that is us at the Blue Lagoon in Iceland. If you've ever been to Iceland, definitely check out the Blue Lagoon. It's awesome. It is naturally heated water, and it is naturally blue. It's amazing, right? They have these hot water things that come from the ground, and it's just naturally hot. And so they've learned how to use that heat, and they've created electricity. So electricity is super cheap in Iceland. And so they have all these hot lagoons all over the place. So that's the Blue Lagoon. And then top right is our trip to Paris. That's the Eiffel Tower, obviously, right? I bring these up because I remember with each one of these trips, my wife plans all the trips, and I'm so grateful for her, because if it weren't for her, I don't know if I'd go anywhere, right? She does all the planning. So she planned all these trips, but I bring these up not to show off where I'm going, but it's this lifestyle that I want you guys to have. And I want you guys to feel this one in your heart. Every time she asked me if I wanted to go on these trips, every single one of them, Disney World, Hawaii, Iceland, Paris, right? She asked me, and I would say, yes. I didn't have to call out from work. I didn't have to check the bank account. I didn't have to ask for permission. The only thing that I did was check my schedule to see if I had any meetings. And if I did, either we rescheduled the trip or I rescheduled the meeting. That's it. Being able to say yes to your life whenever you want is one of the coolest things in the world. And that is what I want you guys to experience, right? I have found that ability through real estate investing, right? That's me. Now, what happens in your life? I'm not one of those guys who will tell you, oh, you're going to have all the riches and the freedom. No, I'm not selling you that. But I want you to feel what happened for me personally, right? I was able to go to all these places because of my situation. It's from me saying yes to a seminar. I was scared, right? When I did my first deal, absolutely terrified. Terrified that I was going to lose money, terrified that I was going to make a mistake, terrified that, like, all kinds of things. Like, your brain will make up a crazy story, and you don't know, you didn't do that. You didn't automatically do that, right? You didn't make up that story. Your brain made up the story for you. And oftentimes it's like, oh, Hone, watch out, be careful. Don't do that. What if something wrong happens, right? All of this stuff happened automatically. But I kept saying yes. And I kept saying yes for a couple of reasons. But the number one reason I kept saying yes to things like going to seminars, saying yes to deals and all of that is because when you say yes, there's possibility. Change can occur, right? There's a possibility there. If you say no to anything in your life, that's it. No, it's gone. Like, there is no future possibility. There is no opportunity moving forward. So in my own personal life, I try to say yes to a lot of things. Hey, Hone, you want to try this? Hey, Hone, do you want to do this? Hey, Hone, check this out. Does this seem interesting? Yes, 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 yes. And then I figure it out afterwards. So in my first deal, did I make mistakes? Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Mistakes that you make in real estate often are like, you install this thing, whatever it is. Like, let's make it easy. Like, you pick a paint color and you paint the house, and then you look at the wall afterwards and you're just like, oh, that's wrong. That's terrible, right? That's a mistake. But do you die from that mistake? No. Do you learn from that mistake? Yeah, you learn that you don't like that color. So should you allow for a mistake like that to cause you to not become a real estate investor? And the answer, absolutely not, right? I mean, that's an easy one. But think about the mistakes that you guys are actually afraid of. What mistakes kept you from your dream? And moving forward, I hope you just say yes more often, because for me personally, that freedom of being able to say yes within my own life, when my wife asked me, hey, would you like to go on this vacation? Would you like to go here? Would you like to do that? And being able to say yes, that feels good. In a week and a half, a friend of mine, he said, hey, I'm going to this mountain bike trail. Would you like to go? And it's on a Friday. Yeah, I'll be there, right? If I want to go, I'll go. I'll be there. And I don't have to ask for permission, and I don't have to check the bank account, and I don't have to worry about work. I don't have to, there's nothing there. If I want to do that, I get to say yes. And so that's what I want for you guys. Now, you may have your own reasons, and feel free to type in your reasons in the comments. I love reading it. I love the interaction. When you guys type it in, it helps me understand who you are, what you're interested in, and moving forward, how I communicate with you guys, right? So again, comment below. Why are you interested in real estate? Is it to say yes? Is it to pay down debt? Is it to prove to your parents that that you're worth it, like that you did good in this life, right? What is it? Why do you want to become a real estate investor, or why are you a real estate investor, right? And we got the one comment already to say yes. So this person agrees with me. Saying yes is a powerful thing. So I'd love to hear from you guys as I keep on going. Feel free to put the comments in there and I can read them as we go along, right? So let's talk about a transformation. Let's talk about a transformation that occurred with somebody within our community of real estate investors. We have a real estate investing community that we've built for the last 4.5 years now. And what we do in this community is we create real estate investors, right? So let's highlight one of them. And the story that always comes to mind for me is Sean Speed, right? Sean Speed, father of 2 growing boys. So I remember when Sean reached out to me, and this was, I want to say, about 3.5 years ago, he reached out to me and he was like, Hone, I keep seeing your messages that you can help people, and I don't know exactly what you do, right? But you keep saying that you can help people escape their 9 to 5, become investors, whatever it is, start a business, things like that. I don't know exactly what you do, but I'm interested, right? I'm interested. So I just invited him to a meeting just like this. Like you guys are on a Zoom call. He came to a live meeting back when we had a live meeting, right? So he came to the live meeting and he just sat in. He had no idea. I like to joke all the time that he didn't know how to spell real estate when he came to the meeting, right? And he also, he was embarrassed when I first did this, but he didn't have any money and he had bad credit, right? No money, bad credit, didn't know how to spell real estate, yet he came to a real estate meeting, no experience whatsoever. He said to me, Hone, I got these 2 boys and I've worked retail my whole life, right? Here he is, picture, working at Kicks USA. For those who don't know what Kicks USA is, it's a shoe store, right? It's a shoe store. So he worked there selling shoes, sneakers, whatever. And he worked there for 10 years, maybe not at just Kicks USA, but retail experience, 10 years. And he was saying that if it would take another 10 years before he got a promotion, and even if he worked another 10 years, he wouldn't have anything to show for it, right? He's got these 2 boys that he's trying to do big things and pass down a better life for them, like have a better life for them and be able to give them something that he never got. So he knew that he needed a change. So here he was working and he was just like, yeah, I need this change, Hone. So I don't know what it is that you do, but I'm sure it's useful to me, right? He also he had a young family too, right? So this is his fiance right here. And they're just growing their family. They needed a place of their own. They weren't engaged yet. They were just boyfriend and girlfriend. Like they wanted everything that everybody says to want. And it's okay to want those things. It's okay to want those things. He just didn't have a way to provide those things, right? He didn't know what his way was going to be. He just knew that he needed to do something. So his first step was just to reach out. What could he lose, right? So he reached out. He's like, Hone, I want to do this. So in 60 days, now, his results are his results. So don't think like I'm telling you, oh, Sean did his first deal in 60 days, that you can do a deal in 60 days. His results are his results. Now, you might do a deal faster. You might do a deal slower. Doesn't matter. You work at your pace, okay? So do not think that you have to move at any speed. Just know that you get to decide, though. And I want this to be a brand new day for you. I want you to think, oh my gosh, I get to do deals. There's nobody else stopping me but me. I get to do deals. Everything that I thought I knew before, I'm going to throw out the window. This is brand new. This is not a let's do things better. No, let's be brand new about the whole thing. Let me take everything that I thought I knew. Let me throw it away. And let me get a fresh start with whatever Hone is saying right now. So Sean, luckily for me, he came in. He had no experience. He was fresh, right? He was fresh. And he came in and was just like, okay, I want to do my first deal. What do I do? What do I do? And he went around and he asked people, Hone, what do I do? Jason, who's in the picture as well, what do I do? And that, like, just that openness, that willingness to be coachable, learning, that was his superpower. That was his superpower. A lot of people operate from too much ego. And I know this because I was the one who operated from a huge amount of ego. And that slowed me down. Every time I thought I knew something, closed the possibility of me learning more. So Sean did his first deal after 60 days. Sean, you can take yourself off mute. I told Sean right before today's call that, Sean, I'm going to be talking about you. Feel free to come on here and listen. But he's here. So if Sean, do you want to describe how you felt in this moment here with this doing your first deal? Feel free to take yourself off mute if possible.
I actually have my son here with me.
Oh, there he is.
I always like to actually
It's your fault. It's
share
your
with
fault. He's
him.
a real estate investor.
I actually just like to have him around sometimes just to see what I do and hear it because I know that they're listening, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So, Sean, how did you feel in this moment? Because emotions are everything. Emotions are everything. It's what drives us to do what we do. So, explain how you felt right here.
yeah, how I felt in that picture was a lot actually going on because it happened for me. It felt so easy because in hindsight, I guess because now that I'm out of the situation, you know, I can look at it as a whole. And by me just focusing on one thing at a time with the help of like what you said, that openness to learn was what I naturally did whenever it came to something new. You know, I tapped into that superpower. At the time, I didn't label it a superpower, but it was just like, hey, I was always good at just asking for help when I really wanted to know something. I didn't care how it made me look. And this was just a completion of hard work pays off, you know, kind of sticking to what you guys always preach is just watch your videos, use the resources as a tool, come prepared with the right questions. And, you know, it's just like nobody will ever see. You know, that was actually the first deal where it only consumed 6 hours total to do. But I wish actually sharing with Carla's team, nobody would ever see me taking account, educating myself, watching the videos, taking notes, showing up to class, listening to the phone calls. It was accumulation of so much that, man, like you could really make money with none of your money or credit. Like it became real, you know. Like, man, it's like I rubbed the genie or something somewhere, you know. And it was a really incredible feeling because to experience the settlement table um, in such a short amount of time, I guess, and to share it with my family, they were all like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I don't know. You know, I just listened and followed directions. It just worked." It was an awesome feeling, you know, and it made it a turning point in my life that really became like, man, I could really do this. It's real estate investing is doable.
Well, it absolutely is doable, and thank you for sharing that. I always loved your story because you had no experience at all in this business, And yet you came and you made something of yourself, and you did this for your family, just like a lot of people want to do. And I just love that you, because you had nothing, it wasn't like it was you working on this master plan that you had where you were like, okay, I'm going to do this and that, and you were going to tweak it. This was brand new for you. And so what's cool is anybody on this call, again, this can be just a brand new start for you. And for a lot of you, I think you want that, right? This is brand new start where you're like, Hone, I messed up here, I messed up there, and all that kind of stuff. Look, just put all that behind you, right? Just put all that behind you, because you get to start fresh. You get to start fresh, and nobody's going to judge you. Nobody's worried about you, right? Nobody's worried about how you're doing, what you're doing, all that kind of stuff. Your job is focus on you, mind your business, and grow your business. Just grow your business, right? Sean did his first deal. He was high on life, king of the world, right? And then life happened. So mind you, he was still working at his job, right? He was still working at his job. And then his job called him and said, "Hey, you you don't have a job here anymore." And it wasn't something that was his fault, really, right? It wasn't something that it was his fault. It was actually upper management that steered him in the wrong direction. But just because upper management decided to steer him in the wrong direction, when they need to blame somebody for something, they get to blame whoever they want. And they let him go. They let him go. And then I remember when he got let go, his face was just like, right? It was just a completely like not excited, not like enthusiastic. And he was genuinely worried because life, for as long as he is known, told him that in order to make money, you need to have a job. And right now he didn't have a job. He got let go from his job. Think about have you ever been let go from your job? How did it feel when you got let go? Or if you've never been let go from your job and you have a job right now, what if tomorrow you went into work and they said, sorry, there's no job here for you? That happens in real life. So people think it's not going to happen to you. It can happen. It can happen. It happens to a lot of people, right? So that happens all the time. He got let go and he just like lost it. So he says, guys, what do I do? And we look at each other and we're like, what do you mean? What do you do? Just do what you did again, and just do what you did again and again and again, right? So he was like, all right, life will throw you, like will punch you when you're not ready. But you don't just let it just stay there, right? You're not just going to be like, okay, I give up. Now, sometimes we do give up, right? And it happens, but he picked himself back up because he had a community to rely on, to ask questions of. So here's Sean at his first closing, right? And we just told him, Sean, you just got let go. So now you have more time. It's like silver lining stuff, right? Oh, well, Sean, now you have more time to do what you did again, right? So that's what he did. So he did it again, right? And again, and again, and again, and again, and again. And he just kept doing deals. Again, this is a person who had no money, bad credit, and no experience. He was brand new to real estate. And in his first year, he did 9 deals. And then year after year after year, I mean, we'll keep on going. Let's keep on talking about his story, right? So after doing all those deals, I remember when he called me, he FaceTimed me, and he started crying, right? He started crying, and he started crying because he had shared with me that his son's tuition was due, right? He knew about this for like 6 months. And he was like, my son's tuition is due, and I never actually had a plan on how I was going to pay it. I knew I had to pay it. I just never knew how I was going to do it. So he had done deals and he had extra money. And so what he do? He paid the tuition. He went over to the school and he just paid it in full. And he said that just made him feel like such a great dad and a person and parent. And like he made it. Like all of a sudden, life was grand. Like all of a sudden he's super hopeful of the future because he realized that it was in his control, right? And he was just so proud of himself, and he should be. So Sean, you should absolutely be proud of yourself because you've done amazing things. And he called me and he was crying, and I was just like, because he caught me off guard. He was like FaceTiming me. I was like, all right. So when he called and started crying, I of course took a screenshot. So I did a screenshot, and there it is. And I kept it ever since because it was amazing. It was amazing what happened to him, like the transformation that happened for him, right? And it was all from real estate. He then he throws a real estate party. How many people do you know throw real estate parties, right? So he decided, like, so he did a short-term rental, like an Airbnb type property. And he was like, well, it's fully furnished and I'm going to be renting it out and it's going to be awesome. Let me have a party first. And so he invited all the people from our community, all the people from the real estate community that we have, to come out and celebrate with him and celebrate how his life has completely changed, right? So again, going from retail job to now throwing real estate parties, that's a complete turnaround, complete like 180, right? Let's fast forward a little bit more. Check this out, right? So last year, I think it was last year. Yeah, it was last year, right? He got engaged. So he had enough money to buy a ring. So there he is. I got invited to the engagement party, and it was a surprise. And he had the house filled with people and the house all decorated. And then she came and voila, they got engaged. That was amazing. And then he bought a house. So they had been living in a house that maybe wasn't in the best neighborhood, and he always wanted to provide more for his family. So uh, he looked and looked and looked, and eventually he found a house. And so there they are, right? They're buying a house, and so that picture was like a couple of weeks ago or last month or something like that, right? Um, I follow his life. I don't follow it that closely. I know the big things. I don't know all the dates. So there he is signing the papers to buy the house that they're going to be living in and building this beautiful family, right? Long-term house. What's really cool is this text message that he sent recently as well. He wrote, what I thought would take 10 years, I accelerated for sure. So he took what he thought might take 10 years and he did it in the last 3 years. That's huge. Saving 7 years of your life. What would you pay for 7 more years of your life, right? What would you pay, right? So he wrote, he also became the person he sought out to be. That is a transformation, right? That's a mental transformation. A lot of people just are like, oh, and I just need to make more money. I just need to make more money. Sean realized that he wanted to become someone else, right? Everybody's looking, what else can I do, Hone? How else can I make money? What else can I do? Sean realized that there was a being, right? So he realized that he needed to become someone else, and he became who he sought out to be. But when it does come to money, he said he made more money this year than ever before. So that's a fantastic thing, right? So that's good too, right? There's the soft and squishy of like, I am going to be the best me I can be. And then there's like, Sean, did you make any money? Yeah, I made more money than I ever did. And this is the year 2020. So if you guys are watching this is the year 2020. We had a pandemic, lockdowns, everything's different. And yet he's made more money this year than he ever has. Imagine if he had been this way a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years ago, how much money he could have made then, right? So it's looking up. It's looking up, and it's an amazing thing what you can do. All right, so let's keep on going. Keys to real estate investing success. REI, real estate investing, right? Keys to real estate investing success, in my opinion, knowledge, support, and opportunities, right? Knowledge, support, and opportunities. You got to know what to do. You got to know what documents to use, what contracts to use, how to negotiate, what kind of strategies exist. You got to know who to hire, who to not hire, right? You got to have all that knowledge, right? So that's number one. Number two, support. When things don't go your way, do you have people who you can call? Do you have people who have quality advice for you? Everybody has an opinion, but do people have quality advice? The people that you hang around with, do they know what it is to become a real estate investor? Are you asking are you asking the right people the right questions, right? So do you have a support system that you can always rely on? That's killer right there. That number 2, support. And then number 3, opportunities. So where are you getting these opportunities from? Right? Are you randomly finding them? Or do you maybe belong to a community that could provide opportunities for you to buy? So in the group that I am in, I get, I want to say like 80 to 90% of the properties that I buy come from members within the group. Some member wants to wholesale. Fantastic. They wholesale. I become the end buyer. I buy it. I fix it up. I rent it out. And then I refinance. And so if you're a wholesaler and you're interested in selling, great. I could buy. So there's opportunities like that, right? So do you have opportunities come your way? Also, there are deals that I buy, and sometimes I need the money. So I have the opportunity to raise money from people within the group so that I can go do more deals. And they get to be my lender, and they get to make the interest on that money that they lend me. So knowledge, support, opportunities. If you're not successful right now, which one of the 3 or all 3 are causing you to not have the success? Which one of those 3 are you lacking, right? Which one of those 3 are you lacking? So take a real deep dive look into that, right? I would believe that it's one of those 3 that's causing you to not have the success that you want, right? So in the comments so far, we got opportunities. So the person who commented already has knowledge and support. And so now she's like, I need more opportunities. So I understand that. Having opportunities is huge. Again, I get most of my deals from the people within my group. Having that deal flow, huge. Deal flow is just as important as cash flow, because cash flow comes from deals, right? So opportunities, huge one. All right. So let's talk about a deal that I did. And this will be an example. So I got sold a property from one of my members. They wholesaled me a deal. And then in this property, I bought a property from a member. And then while I was selling the property, we did an open house, and I was sitting in front of the property. While sitting there, the male person, it was a male woman, right? I don't want to say male man. It was a male woman delivering the mail. And I said, hey, do you know of any properties that are for sale or vacant or anything like that? And she said, what about the property right around the corner? And I was like, what property around the corner? So I run around the corner and I check. Sure enough, there's this property that looks vacant, but I'm not sure. I walk up to the house. I knock on the door, right? And I knock pretty hard. So the first knock, I hit it. And then when I go for the second knock, I miss the door. The door opens from the first knock. Right? I knock and then I go, uh-oh. And I look over and the window's broken too. The window's broken. The door's unlocked. It opened when I knocked. And I'm like, all right, what do I do now? So I walk in, right? I walk in and I go, hello? Hello? Anybody here? And then I like to pull this one. Police, police, right? And I scream police just in case there's somebody in there up to no good. So I scream police. But nobody answers. Nothing happens. I hear nothing. And I keep walking through the house. And I'm looking around. And I don't know if there's like a murderer hiding behind the walls. Like that could be, that could have been the case, right? I'm peeking around. I'm looking around, walking through. And nobody, nothing. And I can't tell whether the house is just dirty and messy or if it's just vacant, right? So then I do a little test. I check the water. No water. And then I turn on the stove. No fire, right? I flip a light switch. No light. So no water, no gas, no electric. All right. I think this one's vacant. Right. And I'm like, okay, well, this is a vacant property. It's in decent shape structurally. I want to buy it because it's just like the one I'm doing right now around the corner. So I need to buy it. And because it's vacant, I'm like, well, I got to protect the asset. Like, I don't want somebody breaking in here and squatting and sleeping here. I also don't want anybody else potentially buying it from under me. So let me protect the asset. So allegedly, and I don't want you guys doing this, right? Allegedly, I go to the hardware store and I buy plywood. And I take the plywood and I board up the window that was broken. And then I also, or allegedly, buy new locks and I change the locks on the door. Allegedly, right? Don't do this, but the asset needed to be secured. So the house is all boarded up, and I'm the only one with the key now. So I have this key, and now it's time to figure out who owns the thing so that I can actually buy it. It turns out that this is one of those probate situations where the owner died. And because the owner died, it gets left to the heirs. So now I have to figure out who the heirs are, and then I got to figure out how to get in contact with them. So that's what I do. So I figure out who they are, where they are. And so once I get the addresses of the heirs, I go to each one of the houses. They all lived in Philadelphia still. And so I knocked on all the doors. And I couldn't get the person that I needed to get. There was one administrator of the estate. And I was trying to get to her. And when I got to her house, nobody answered, right? Nobody answered. So uh, I got like super, super duper lucky. This will not happen to you. So my story is my story, but the beauty is you get to have your own story, right? So my story is I went bowling that next day after I find the property, the next day, and I'm going bowling pretty late. It's about 10 o'clock. We go to pick up a friend of mine or a friend of ours to go bowling, right? So we're picking him up. So a bunch of things had to happen in the exact sequence, or else this would not have happened. We needed to decide to go bowling at this certain time. And then the person that we were picking up needed to decide that he didn't have a ride and needed us to pick him up. And we had to agree to pick him up. So we go to pick him up. Turns out he lives across the street from the administrator of the estate. So I'm like, oh my God, what are the odds that you live across the street from the person that I need to find in order to buy this property? So I'm asking him, right? I'm like, hey, do you ever see anybody go in and out of that house over there? Right. And while I'm asking him over here, my friend that's over here, he goes, what do you mean? Like her? And I'm like, he's messing with me. There's no way. There's no way he's messing with me. Right. So I look over. Sure enough, there's a woman, 10 o'clock at night, going to that house. She's standing at the door, unlocking the door. And like my eyes light up. I jump out of the car and I run across the street screaming her name with the just like waving my hands like, hey, 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 hey. I'm like, are you selling this property? And she's like, oh, it's already sold. And I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? It's already sold. So I'm like, all right, I'm all defeated, right? I give her my business card and I say, if you have any other properties for sale, please give me a call. So she's like, okay. 2 weeks goes by. She calls me, right? 2 weeks later, she calls me. She's like, hey, are you still interested in buying that property? I'm like, yeah, but I thought you said it was sold. She was like, yeah, it didn't work out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, right? So it turns out that the property got under contract with a wholesaler. So she was selling the property. A wholesaler had figured out who she was first, got to her, had the agreement of sale signed, but couldn't find a buyer. So that wholesaler just let the property go. He just couldn't find a buyer. So then I reach out and I'm like, well, okay, I'll buy it from you. And then so we negotiate a price and I closed on it. And the way I closed on it is I used private money from the group. I raised some private money and then I used some hard money, combined the two, had no money out of my pocket, did this deal, flipped it, made a good amount of money. Don't want to say, right? But made a decent amount of money and went on with my life, right? Paid the private money back, paid the hard money back. The buyer of the house loves the house. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. We had a comment. Say it. Say how much money you made. No, we're going to leave that to your imagination. But there's the before and after pictures if you want to see, right? It was a good deal. It was definitely a good deal. All right, so let's keep on going. So what are some of the failures that people make? So like failures occur when you make big mistakes. And I have big all capitalized because what I mean by big is that it ruins you. It just wastes all your money. It messes with you so much that you just want to quit. Like it just your brain says, "Oh man, I'm such a failure. I'm such a disappointment." It's just bad. So making big mistakes, that'll do it to you. That'll cause a failure. And why do you make big mistakes? Why do you make big mistakes? Well, it's probably because you don't know what you're doing, right? And why don't you know what you're doing? Well, you don't have access to good education and you have poor guidance. You don't have people there to help you along. Remember when I was saying that the three things that cause you to become a successful real estate investor? It is support, knowledge, support, and opportunities, right? Knowledge, support, opportunities. So here, when you make really big mistakes because either you didn't know what you were doing or you had poor guidance, right? Or you thought that you had an opportunity that wasn't actually an opportunity, right? That happens too. People buy things that they think, oh my gosh, this is going to set me up. I'm going to get rich from this. And it just doesn't happen, right? The other thing that knocks you out of the game where failure occurs is you can't win anymore. Meaning, like if I did a deal and I lost $5,000, but in my next deal I made $25,000. Overall, I made $20,000. But what happens is people just get knocked out of the game completely. They lose $5,000. Okay. And then the next deal, maybe they lose $15,000. That might have been all their money and they're done. They're done. They're like, I can't do anymore. If they were able to do more deals and win in future deals, then they could have recouped all their losses. But it's when you do not have what they call solvency, right? Or like you're insolvent now. You've just run out of money. You just can't win anymore. That'll cause you to fail. And then finally, you just mentally quit. Like when the losses are too big or they're too frequent or you just feel alone. That's a big one too. Just feeling alone. You don't have anybody to turn to, nobody to call, nobody who understands what you're going through. It's easy to quit. It's easy to just be like, I throw in the towel. I'm done. So that'll mess you up. All those will mess you up. So a way to be successful, avoid doing those four things right there. Making big mistakes, right? Having poor guidance, just not being able to win anymore and mentally quitting, right? If you do those things, you will fail and fail hard. So we're trying to avoid that kind of stuff. We're trying to avoid you failing. So let's talk about this real quick. 3 support pillars that we provide. This screen is busy. I might have to change this in the future, right? This screen is really busy. But it's 3 main things that we provide. Facebook group, private Facebook group, 24/7, 365. If you have any questions about anything, you can go on there, post your questions, and you will get responses. You will hear from other investors who have been down the road that you've been down. If you're just even feeling bad, even if you're just feeling bad, if you tell the group that you're feeling bad and that you're not feeling confident, that you're kind of just like scared, you're worried about what mistakes you might make, like whatever it is, go on there. There's a lot of people who can help you. And then what happens in return is you might help other people. That's a beautiful thing. That's very fulfilling. Being in the position to help other people who used to be in your shoes or who are in the shoes that you used to be in, right? So you start off as the person who needs all the help. Eventually you graduate to the person who does the helping. It's a great thing, right? It's a great thing. We also have daily phone calls, daily group phone calls. So you get on the phone and you talk it out, right? What's cool about the phone calls is you get to hear about other people and you get to hear their questions. Sometimes you don't realize that you have that question. You don't realize that it's like, oh, I was wondering about that, right? I was wondering about that. Or I didn't even know to wonder about that. So being on the group phone calls, if you have a question that day, ask the question. It's great. Number 3, weekly study groups. weekly study groups. That there is incredible. So every single week we meet over Zoom. We used to do it in person, and we may go back to that. But right now, over Zoom, and we actually have people nationwide. So it doesn't matter where you are in the country. You can hop on our weekly Zoom calls and join us during our study group. In our study group, what we do is we follow a curriculum, right? We follow a curriculum, we watch a video, and then we get on the Zoom call and we discuss that video together. That's the coolest thing. Having everybody on the same page, having learned everything together, all speaking the same language, and then discussing it so that we all become better. That weekly study group, super, super powerful. Right? Super powerful. So those are the pillars. Right here, I should say, right here is the curriculum that we follow. It's all of the classes and what week to watch, what video, and then when we get together, we know exactly what to discuss. Powerful stuff right there. All right, so now let's talk about the education that we have. So we have a package that has 450 plus hours. This is the invest in everything. Like if you want to do short sales, if you want to do multifamily, if you want to do commercial properties, if you want to do wraparound mortgages, if you want to do contract for deeds, if you want to buy properties from the auction, if you want to build your business credit, if you want to do private lending, if you want to raise money, if you want to do partnerships, if you want to do syndications, subject twos, just you name it. This package has all of it. We have a package that has every type of investing and a video to teach you exactly how to do it. 450 plus hours of knowledge to invest in everything. I like to say that this is the say yes more package, right? This bundle of videos allows you to say yes more because you're going to be able to do more, because you're going to have the knowledge to do more. You're going to know how to handle the deal, no matter it's a commercial, apartment building, duplex, triplex, single family, like fix and flips, buy and holds, notes, you name it. Knowing or having access to all these videos gives you the ability to just say yes more. So when a deal comes your way, you're not going to know what kind of deal comes your way. So here it's like, oh, I know how to do that. Or if you don't know how to do it, you have reference, right? You have a library. You go back to the library. And by going back to this library, you get to watch all of these videos right here, right? All of these videos. And they'll teach you exactly what it is you need to know about that specific topic, right? About that specific topic. Here's the breakdown. Here's the breakdown. I'll give you a second to just look over all these classes. But these classes right here, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, but just think, what if you knew all of these topics? What if you understood all of these topics? Wouldn't you feel like a different person? You walk around with your shoulders, or your head held high, your chest up, all that. Like you just walk with a different confidence. When you walk with that different confidence, that just means that you get to do more things. You get to say yes more, as I was saying before, right? So these classes, amazing classes. The other thing is I call this the big bonus. Having access to a mentor. A lot of people want a mentor. You can get access to a mentor. You can get mentor calls specific for you, right? Just you and the mentor, one-on-one. So there's mentoring calls. And then you also get the library of contracts. So a lot of people often ask me, Hone, what contract do you use for this or that? What document do you use? You get the whole library of contracts, documents, and then you get the mentoring calls. So this is the big bonus, right? This is the big, big bonus. Let's see. All right. So we call this the extreme combo. That's all three of these things right here, right? So you got one over there. You got two, the big bonus, mentor calls, contracts. And then three, you get the three support pillars. Again, that's the Facebook group, the daily phone calls, the weekly study group. So these three things right here make up what we call the extreme combo. That's incredible amount of support. That's incredible amount of knowledge. And by having that, the opportunities in your life increase, right? So that's the extreme combo. For the extreme combo, if you're interested in getting that, the cash price is $19.97, or you can get in with $39.97 down, $438 a month. What's really cool is that price is for two people, and it's lifetime access. So when I joined the community, this is actually the package that I got. So I joined, I used a credit card, I paid in full, and then I had my tuition partner share that with me. So the cost wasn't that bad. But what's neat is 4.5 years later, I'm still here. I still have access to all of the videos, right? Because again, lifetime access. I still have access to all of the videos. I have access to the community. I have the support. I get the deal flow, right? I have all of that. So, and then I got the points. The education was a write-off, right? It's a business write-off. I got to learn how to reduce my taxes. So it really paid for itself. But that's my personal opinion. That was my experience. So the extreme combo, again, cash price $19.97, or you can just finance $39.97 down, $438 a month until you pay it off. Again, that's access for two people. So if you have a partner, find a partner, share that with them, lifetime access. I wanted to bring this up because I want to show you the power of what having knowledge gives you. So this property here, I bought for, how much was it again? $8,000. So I was able to buy this property for $8,000. So do you have $8,000? And I would bet that you would say, yes, you could find $8,000 if you could buy a house like this. And so the way I was able to buy this house was somebody came to me and they said, hey, Hone, do you want to buy this property? Remember, deal flow, opportunities. You need this. You need people to just be like, hey, do you want to buy this? So somebody reached out to me, said, Hone, do you want to buy this property? I went over there. I said, yes. And then I learned about their situation. And I said, why are you guys selling this property? And they said, it's because they need to move to Florida. They want to move to Florida. They want to retire down there. I'm like, okay, great. Well, let's do this. Have you bought your property yet in Florida? Have you bought that yet? They said no. I said, okay, I'm the perfect solution for you. I am the perfect solution for you. How about you leave the mortgage in place? I had asked them, do you guys have a mortgage? They said yes. I said, how about you leave the mortgage in place and I pay the mortgage on your behalf? And the money that you need to move, I will give to you now. And in a couple of months, I will refinance the property after I fix it up, and I will pay off your existing loan. And what I'll do is I will allow you, after I buy this house, to stay in the property. So you sell me the property. I give you the money that you're going to walk away with. And in return, you get to stay there until you find your next property in Florida. So they were like, wow, really? You would do that? I was like, yep, I'll buy it as is. I'll close quickly. And then I'll allow you to find your next property and stay. And they were like, oh my gosh. So that was a done deal. So they had a mortgage, forget the exact numbers, but what I remember though, from the closing table, I don't remember the mortgage amount, what I bought it for, whatever, but I do remember I gave them, or they walked away with a check for $6,000. Not much at all. I brought $8,000 to the table. 6,000 of that went to them, and then 2,000 went to the closing costs. So I paid $8,000. They got $6,000. They used that $6,000 to hire a moving truck, all that kind of stuff, right? They were in the military, so they had a VA loan. So they didn't have to put a down payment. So the VA loan allows them to buy the next property, no down payment. So they were getting a VA loan for their next property. But it took them 2 months. It took them 2 months before they could find a property that they can actually settle on. And they were just so grateful for me allowing them to stay there. Here's what allowed for that deal to occur. It was that I was already prepared prior to going in. I had no idea. If they had a mortgage, what they would sell it for. I had no idea whether they will allow for me to take over or pay their mortgage on their behalf. And I had no idea that they were trying to buy another property, right? I had no idea of any of the situation. But when I went there, I was fully prepared for anything and everything. So I was able to not only negotiate this whole entire thing while sitting in their house cold, right? Like just walking into the situation cold, no briefing, went in there cold. I also had the contract on my cell phone, right? I had the contract on my cell phone that I could have them signed right away, that I can send to the title company and have the title processed immediately. So I was able to lock down this contract because I knew what to do going in. So I bought the property. I bought the property a couple weeks later, right? Again, gave them the money, and then they were able to find their next house. They were able to find their next house. But that's the power. I love that I know how to do this. Like, I am proud of myself for knowing this. Like, a lot of times it's weird to pat yourself on the back, right? But I'm just like, man, I did that. That's really cool. That's really cool. And that's why I'm such a student, right? Because I always want to learn and be prepared for when you step into situations like that. So for this property, I think the equity in the property today is probably something like $50,000, right? And then I rent this property out. I probably make somewhere between $300 and $400 a month cash flow after paying the mortgage, after paying the taxes and insurance and all of that kind of stuff, right? It cash flows. It increased my net worth by $50,000. I have no money out in this deal, right? And I was able to help a family with getting to their next place. I made it easy for them. Like, it's a win-win-win all the way around. Like, everybody gets high fives. Having that ability just allows me to do what I do, which was say yes. That's all I care to do, right? I'm not super excited about real estate. I'm not like, oh my God, I love real estate. Absolutely not. I love my life. I love my life, and I love being able to say yes to my life. Having that knowledge, that package that I just went over with you, having access to the 450 plus hours of education, having the support group, having the mentor calls, having the contracts, having everything available, it just makes everything easier, right? The reason why a lot of people struggle in this business is they don't have access to that stuff, and they go in blind and they don't have the resources. So here we provide you with the knowledge, the resources, the contracts, all of the things that you may need so that you can become a real estate investor. That's what I was been saying in the beginning. Become a real estate investor. If you're interested, right, we have a different package. This is 88 plus hours. I call it Build Like a Pro, right? This is Build Like a Pro. This is a smaller package, less education. Not worse, it's just less, right? So in the big package, in the 450 plus hours, you get all of these classes too. But this package just has these foundational videos, right? Foundational videos. You want to build your business the right way the first time. So that's why I'm calling this Build Like a Pro. You're going to learn about the tax and legal structure. You're going to learn about creative acquisitions. You're going to learn about negotiations. You're going to learn about self-directed IRA so you can raise private money. So you're going to learn about all these different things from this video package, right? 88 plus hours of videos. And here's a breakdown of the classes. Here's the 11 classes that you would get within the 88 plus hours, right? So that first one, Velocity Banking, that teaches you how to pay off a 30-year mortgage in 7 to 10 years. It's crazy. How much in interest are you paying to the bank for owning your house? A lot. Typically double what you paid for the house. So if you bought the house for $100,000, you're probably paying the bank close to $100,000 in interest, if not more, depending on what your interest rate is. Understanding credit, that class is all about how credit really works. A lot of people don't know how credit works. So if you understand how credit works, it'll change your game, because even though you don't need credit to invest in real estate, having credit makes it easier. Tax and legal, again, you got to know how to structure yourself correctly. Do you need an LLC? Do you need an S Corp? Do you need a C Corp? Those are three different things that I just mentioned. When do you use what and why? You want to know those answers before you just randomly pick. So you don't want to just randomly pick. You want to know why you're doing things. You want to build like a pro. Okay. So don't just guess anymore. So all of those classes, key to your building a great business, right? So you get these two things. You get 88 hours of classes, and then you also get the 3 support pillars. So this essentials package is slightly different than the other one because you don't get the contracts and you don't get the mentoring, right? You don't get the one-on-one mentoring calls. You have less videos, right? A couple hundred hours less, but you do get the support pillars, right? You do get the Facebook group. You do get the phone calls. You do get the weekly group trainings, right? So you get that. This essentials pack, if you're interested in joining, the cash price, $19.97 or $397 down and then $117 a month. And once you're done paying it, you don't have to pay anymore. You're in, right? You're in. So this super affordable, $397 down. Again, for 2 people. So if you split that, that's $200 a person. $200 a person. You get access to the community. You get access to the study group, the Facebook group, the phone calls. You get all those videos, lifetime access. It's a beautiful thing. This one's a little bit of a long one, and it's been a long time since I told this one, but this is Brittany, Malik, and Jessica. They came together. Brittany found the deal, right? Brittany found a deal. Jessica found the money, and then Malik negotiated the whole thing and structured it all. So in this situation, nobody had money or credit. Brittany found the deal. Finding a deal does not require any money, does not require any credit. So Brittany found the deal, right? Jessica, the one holding the keys and the one signing with the pen, she found the amount of money that they would need in order to do the deal, the way that Malik, the guy in the middle there, between the 2 girls, the way he structured it. So Brittany found the deal. She didn't know what to do with it, but she had access to people who knew what to do. So she called Malik and she said, "Hey, Malik, can you figure this one out?" Malik, all 3 of them are all students of our education. Malik figured out how to structure it. He negotiated with the seller, and then he found other sources of money. He did, subject to the existing mortgage, he put together like 3 to 4 different financing sources together. He needed one other financing source. That's where they brought in Jessica. Jessica was able to raise some money, right? Brought that to the deal. So the 3 of them got together. None of them had money, but with their knowledge, they were able to structure the deal where they were able to buy the property, fix it up, and then flip it. And this was in Northern Liberties in Philadelphia. So if anybody knows about Northern Liberties, that's a really hot area. So there was a lot of equity to be spread around. So the 3 of them chopped it all up at the end, and they got it done. And again, none of them brought money. None of them brought their own credit, and they got the deal done. So amazing. Amazing what you can do when you have the knowledge. So the 3 of them together were able to do this deal. I was very proud of them. And so that's why I include this slide here. The greatest mistake you can make in your life is to be continually fearing you will make one, right? A lot of people are so deathly afraid of, are they going to make a mistake? Are they going to make a mistake? Are they like, is joining this group and paying money for a group, is that a mistake? Like, people are so worried about everything that they worry to the point where they let their dreams go. Their dreams are gone because they don't take any action. If you say no, it closes all possibility. If you say yes, all kinds of doors open up. If you continue to say no, that would be the greatest mistake because you're so afraid of making a mistake. Don't let that drive your life, right? You're here because you want a brand new start. You want a brand new start, and this is what you get, right? You get to have a brand new start like you want. You get to realize that you are more powerful than you know. You just need the right resources. You need the right guidance, right? So that's what this group is. That's what this group has provided for me, and that's what this group has provided for a lot of people. So the only thing that's left to say, right? Only thing, join. Hey guys, thank you so much for taking your time out to watch the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you took away a bunch of strategies. I hope you got the right mindset now to want to create a better future for you and your family, because you get to. Nobody else gets to decide other than you. The opportunities are there for you. You just have to go out and take it. Now, if you're interested in becoming a part of our community, all you have to do is pick your package and tell me how you're going to finance it. Pick your package. How are you going to finance it? Are you going to pay it in full, or are you going to put a down payment and pay over time? Either way, it's fine, because it gets you in the community and it gets you learning. That's what we need to do. We got to get you learning sooner than later so that you can start applying and getting results. Right? So pick your package and then tell me about your financing, and don't worry about your credit. Everybody's approved. No matter what your credit score is, you will get financing if you choose to do the down payment and do the monthly payments after that. Also, if you're waiting to join the program by first by finding a partner, don't. I know that by having a partner, you get to split the cost and it's cheaper. I understand that. But what I would suggest you do is join first, meet all of the other investors, learn the knowledge, and then apply the strategies. Get a benefit for yourself, and then this way, when you're talking to people who you're considering bringing on as a tuition partner, when you talk to them, you now know how to communicate the actual benefits because you are experiencing them. It's a much more different conversation when you're not actually a part of the group trying to talk about what's in the group. But if you are a part of the group and you are experiencing these benefits for yourself, it's a much easier conversation with your potential partners. So don't wait. Also, I would like to say, don't wait on anybody else to as whether you're going to take action towards a better future, right? Don't allow somebody else's thoughts and decisions and opinions dictate your own financial future, because that has happened a lot. It's like, what do my friends think about this? What do my family think about this, right? And they caused you to have the life you have now because if they don't have the vision that you have, then they're going to just talk from where they are, and that is going to hold you back. So if you're trying to bring on a potential partner and that potential partner maybe just doesn't see it like you do, don't allow them to hold you back. Don't let their opinion and their decision dictate your decision. So again, if you're interested, I would say join first and then go meet the right person later. You can bring a partner on at any time, so don't worry about it. If you're interested in getting started, email me your name, your email, your phone number, and your address. Name, the email that you want on your account, your phone number, and your address. Email me at hone@honesloans.com. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the email and I will answer them. We can get on a call. I can email, or I can respond to it via email. Either way, it's fine. But if you have any questions, put them in there. If you're ready to get started, put that information in there. I'll put your order through. Just tell me the package you want, how you're going to finance it. I'll put that order through. You'll get it. Start the order. Email me back. Tell me you're in, and let's get to work, right? Let's get you on track to learning what you need to learn so that you can apply the strategies that you learn to your actual life, and so that you can start getting results. All right, well, that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope to see you soon. See ya.